Here is section 9.9, and in this section you're going to be learning how to use the discriminant, but we're still in that same section using quadratic formula and the discriminant. In this video, we are going to understand what the discriminant is. So, let's do just that. Here we go. The discriminant. This is probably the coolest part of the quadratic equation. So the discriminant is the section of the equation from the quadratic formula that negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. This is the part that's under the square root symbol. And if we recall from our from square root, taking the square root of numbers, when we take the square root of, let's say, 4, we end up getting a positive or a negative 4. But if we took the square root of negative 4, we'd realize that there's no solutions. So this is the whole concept behind the discriminant. The discriminant is the part underneath the square root symbol. So if the discriminant ends up being 0, we know that there's only going to be one solution, because plus or minus 0, the square root of 0 is 0, so you're not adding or subtracting anything to it. But if the discriminant is negative, there's not going to be any solutions that are possible, because we cannot take the square root of a negative number. As well, if the discriminant is positive, if it's above the number 0, then yeah, that we're totally set and ready to go. We can find two whole solutions. So, in the quadratic formula, the discriminant of the equation is the part under the radical, or the square root sign. The outcome of this number will determine if a solution an equation, it should say, has 0, 1, 2, or 2 solutions. So this should say equation. Nice handwriting. Not equations, equation. All right, so we can decide if there's 0, 1, or 2 solutions here. So if the discriminant is a positive number, the equation will have 2 solutions. If the discriminant equals 0, it will have 1 solution, and if the discriminant is a negative number, it'll have no solutions. So there's 3 different planes of thought on this one. So let's use this concept and solve an equation. Find the number of solutions there are for each equation using the discriminant. So for this green equation, we have 3x squared plus 10x plus 2 is equal to 0. Let's identify our a, which is 3, our b, which is 10, and our c, which is 2. And we are, instead of using this whole equation of negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, we're just going to use this part, okay? So we're looking at b squared minus 4ac. So let's do that. We have b, which is 10, so 10 squared, minus 4 times our a term, 3 times 3, and our c term, which is 2. So let's do a little bit of math and we can get this finished. 10 squared is equal to 100. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12 times 2, which is 24. So we have 100 minus 24, which is equal to 76. So because that is a positive number, we can simply say there are going to be 2 solutions for this problem. 2 solutions for the green problem. Let's try this blue problem, and after that we'll try a purple problem. It'll be exciting. So we need to figure out our a term, our b term, and our c term. So a is equal to 9, b is equal to negative 6, and c is equal to 1. So if we're putting it in this information of b squared minus 4 times a times c, we can do that. Here is our a term, so here is our b term, so let's put that in for b. We have negative 6 squared minus, now we need our a term, which is 4 and then 9. So we're multiplying this times the negative 4 times 9, and our last term, which is c, is times 1. So let's do this math. Negative 6 squared is negative 6 times negative 6, which is 36. And then we're going to do 4 times 9, negative 4 times 9, which is negative 36 times 1, which is 36, minus 36, which is equal to 0. So there's one solution. Now, obviously, we could put this information, all this discriminant information, we could put it in underneath that square root symbol. We'd have b squared plus or negative b plus or minus, negative b plus or minus the square root of 0 all over 2 times a, and we can finish this up and we can actually find that one solution, but we don't need to. That's not the point of this as of right now. We're just trying to determine how many solutions there are. And now we have x squared plus x plus 1 is equal to 0, so x squared is, or the a is equal to 1, the b term is equal to 1, and our c term is equal to 1. So if we were to then put that into our equation of b squared, 1 squared, minus 4 times 1 is equal to 1 squared, which is equal to 1. Minus 4 times 1 equals negative 4, and then multiply that by a 1 again, and you get negative 4. So 1 minus 4 is negative 3, and negative 3, we cannot take the square root of a negative 3, so there are no solutions. So if you ever want to see if an equation is even worth your time evaluating, you can just pay attention to the discriminant, that b squared minus 4ac. Just pay attention to that, and you should be able to figure it all out. Should see it, or you'll be able to tell if this is worth your while to actually figure out the actual answers to it. So once again, as always, if you have any questions, please ask. I hope this is a helpful video, and I will talk to you later. Bye!